You know, I'm a Democrat, and I supported the current governor reluctantly because the alternative was worse. But I must say I've been very disappointed in the fact that the Democratic Party controls both houses in the Illinois General Assembly and controls the governor's mansion, and yet they don't have the political courage to enact meaningful tax reform in this state. To shift the reliance from a burdensome and regressive property tax into a more fair, more equitable income tax so that we could fund our schools adequately. Where you go to school should not depend on whether you happen to live in a suburb with Old Orchard Shopping Center. You know, the fact of the matter is that we need more political courage down in Springfield to do that. And yes, we need accountability here at home to make sure that our tax dollars are spent wisely. And I find it rather interesting that Mr. Gordon says he's going to be that watchdog, whereas at a meeting at the Loyola Park Fieldhouse at the candidate debate just the other night, he kind of likened the relationship of an alderman to the mayor to that of an employee and a boss. I think that says a lot right there. You know, Mayor Daley, sir, is not your boss if you're elected alderman. You are in a co-equal branch of government. And you have one alderman here who you know by a track record is going to be unbossed and will view Mayor Daley not as my boss who I have to placate, but as someone who is my equal partner in trying to run this government.
Thank you. Mr. Adams?
We don't so much need tax reform as we need spending reform. And this is an example of an issue that comes right back to the folks, all of you in this room. I'm asking that you take a look at the people that you're sending downtown to decide who's going to spend your tax dollars. Do you want career politicians who have never had to answer to a boss, never had to answer to anyone in particular, other than the voters who sometimes aren't able to do all of the homework that they need to do in order to hold them accountable to how they spend your money? Tax increases are all about an easy way to come up with a little extra money to pay for pay increases and pay for additional services and things like that without taking a harder look at how the money's being spent already. A lot of us, if we looked at a budget the size the city budget has, we probably wouldn't have much trouble looking at the county budget, finding 17% to cut. I worked in private industry. Half my life, I was a boss. I managed a budget of $19 million. Within a month of passing our budgets each year, I was asked to cut from that budget. I can't tell you that a single time where I managed a budget that when the fiscal year was over, I had as much to spend as I did when the year started. I know all about cutting. I know all about being responsible. I know all about answering to bosses. You're the boss. You're the boss when it comes to election time. You're the boss when it comes to deciding who your elected officials are going to be. Hold your elected officials accountable. Find the people that are not going to just raise taxes because that seems to be the easy answer. Find the people who are equipped to do the tough things. Find the tough answers and use the money that's already there in order to operate our government.
Thank you. In the 50th ward, wherever I go, I hear those horror stories. Senior citizens moving out because of the skyrocketing property taxes. I met a person named Gary living on Lunt Avenue, told me that his mother is forced to move out because of the skyrocketing increase in property taxes. There is a phony baloney here that cut the property tax. Now cut the property tax on what? On the rate? And then reassessment 2 or 3 years will bring the tax double and triple? I have a simple solution, because I'm a simple man. I don't talk long speeches, big speeches. I'm the person, I'm a candidate who brings solution, and my solution is cut, cap, and vote. What it means that I will decrease the property tax, cut the property tax, and then I will put a cap not on the rate but on the reassessment. And I will make sure that City Council, if ever vote for increase, it will be 2/3 supermajority, not the hocus pocus dominocus. Okay? So the property taxes should be decreased, and I will, because I have 2-minute limit, I can tell you how I'm going to bring the money back to the community. Because obviously people will say, if property taxes are decreased, how are you going to support the schools and all those things? So I want to tell you, Mr. Moore, that you use the word unbossed, which is my slogan. Right? You said unbossed. My slogan is unbought and unbossed. And that's what I am, unlike my alderman, Bernie Stone. Anyone have any questions about property taxes? Meet me after the debate.
Hocus pocus dominocus. Remember that. Yeah, I guess I got a couple things to say about taxes. I support unequivocally the 7% cap in taxes and property tax assessment increases, because I think that although that's not very popular with some of the Chamber of Chicago Chamber of Commerce and others, it's a very important thing for local residents to be able to keep their homes. Mr. Moore made a couple comments about my position on big box retail. I'd like to address them very directly. I mean, there's a lot of us up here, so it's possible to get confused about where some of the opponents actually stand on things. But the fact of the matter is, in spite of what may or may not have been quoted out of context, I've always supported a living wage law. I certainly would support the big box law if it includes Rogers Park. I think that what's really important, and I think Alderman Moore got it exactly correct when he said he was approached by organized labor to do this. Service Employees International Union, their political director, Jeannie Castrop, was a big factor in it. Joe Moore's campaign has paid the person, Scott Castrop, who lives in the same house as their political director, Jeannie Castrop, over $15,000 in the last year. Similarly, when the foie gras ban came out, a woman named Janet Cole gave Joe Moore $25,000, and he talked about principle and about fighting with the state of Illinois. And we've heard him talk about fighting with the Bush administration, but when we had the opportunity here at the county level to take on the Stroger machine, the 49th Ward organization, Joe Moore at his campaign picnic, had Todd Stroger up here giving a speech about what a great representative he would be. I'm not going to get too heavily into what Todd Stroger is doing right now. You can read that every day in the paper. But it's very corrupt, and it's going to cost all of us a great deal of money and services. I think we have the opportunities to fight locally for living wage. We have the opportunities if we look at, we talk about chain stores, and Dominic's is a chain store. Joe says he's opposed to those. I don't think he's opposed to Dominic's. Doesn't sound like it today, neither am I. We've got a Chipotle here. If we want to fight about something, we can fight for the Chipotles. Out of time? All right. And that concludes our 4th round of questioning. And I'd just like to say that this incredibly complicated yet pivotal issue is a topic that Rpcan